U.S. airstrikes are underway in Iran, the second wave in 24 hours after President Trump promised to, quote, just finish the job that he started 130 days ago. The White House decision to turn away from a negotiated agreement with Iran comes as the president says he no longer trusts Iranian leaders, calling them cuckoo. Our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy following late developments from the Middle East, and he joins us from the NBC Chicago newsroom tonight. Chuck.
Allison, just a few hours after President Trump publicly telegraphed the military's next move, admitting it probably wasn't a good idea to do so, the bombs resumed falling on Iranian targets. This move from the bargaining table back to the battlefield isn't much of a surprise, considering such a porous ceasefire was in place. But tonight, the short-term attack plan has experts in Chicago trying to figure out what the long view is, and once again considering this question: how will it end? The beginning of the end of the Iran war ceasefire. Iranian cell phone video of U.S. bombs dropped on a major port. The first wave of American airstrikes that continued Wednesday night, Tehran time. Does this sound like the United States and Iran are at a starting over point in this?
I think a key thing to keep in mind is that the war was never over. Right.
University of Chicago political scientist Paul Post says the so-called Memorandum of Understanding signed by Iran and the U.S. was merely a 60-day framework for concluding hostilities, not an actual ending.
It did extend the ceasefire, extended it for 60 days, but it seemed very unlikely that 60 days was going to be enough. And even under that condition of their negotiating their ceasefire, there was still the underlying issues involved, which is Iran wanting to control the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. not allowing that, questions about the nuclear program. So it seemed like it was always a fragile condition. And what we've just witnessed is finally a break each other.
And now that U.S. warplanes are back in the sky over Iran, the ceasefire is officially ended. And Iranian officials say that prospective agreement they signed is off the table, which raises the question, how long do other Middle Eastern nations sit still and take it? Where does their patience end in this, considering, if you would, that the Gulf states are one force?
I'm actually surprised that their patience hasn't run out at this point, and largely because of the fact that they've been vulnerable, that there are people, one of the big things that they have based their identity on, if you look at places like Dubai, is this is a place that is safe for individuals to be able to come to from all over the world, bring your wealth, come here for the tax shelter, not the bomb shelter. And that has been a big thing that has raised a lot of concerns with those governments about questioning the sustainability of having the U.S. and having a close security relationship with the U.S. because it has left them to be vulnerable to these attacks by Iran.
As airstrikes resume in Iran, four dreaded words are also coming up again: boots on the ground. Would the Trump administration be willing to send in ground forces to accomplish what a bombing campaign hasn't, break Iran's back? UFC political scientist Paul Post tonight says he doesn't see the Trump administration with an appetite for ground troops, something that he says could draw in Russia and China to the fray. So the question tonight remains, how does it end? Allison?
Chuck Gowdy, thanks so much for that update tonight.